So the words that are now being used are artificial intelligence and machine learning. But let me tell you, there is really no intelligence there and there is really no learning there. These words were coined to attract attention, and suddenly we get to assume that these machines are as intelligent as human beings. Let me tell you that when we talk about machine learning, the machine doesn't really learn much. What it does is it fits some mathematical formula for the data that it has and hope that if it applies the same mathematical formula to more data of the same context, it will get the right answer. And I think this is very, very important to understand. And actually, it is amazing. I've been doing this for a while. All children who study in school and follow NCERT books, in class 9, 10, 11 and 12, there is an appendix called mathematical modeling, which does exactly the same thing. The mathematics that they've learned, it applies to real life problems. But no student and no teacher actually even pays any attention to that appendix 2 because it is not asked in the CBSE examination nor in the engineering entrance exams. But that is the basis of what we call machine learning. The difference is that in real life, data cannot be fitted to simple equations which you are taught in school and need more complex things. And therefore, there are a large number of what you call learning algorithms where you try to fit the data. And then you assume that if you have a real life data which corresponds to that condition, it will work. And that is why machine learning or a learning algorithm for a given task with performance measure P improves with experience E. Therefore, a machine learning algorithm which has been trained on a given task, say recognizing faces, will not be able to recognize poetry because it has to be retrained on that kind of a task. So you understand that basically what appears to us as learning is basically applying mathematics to large amounts of data and checking out which is the best mathematical equation or mathematical model or mathematical formula that fits the test data. So any field is driven by human beings. When you look at physics, you think of Newton and Einstein and Stephen Hawking and Feynman and so many others, many more. It is also important for us to appreciate that there are human beings who have been behind the field of AI and machine learning. There were, of course, long time ago, people like Alan Turing who proposed the key ideas of machine learning, who proposed the Turing test to be able to distinguish whether we are talking to a human or a machine, and it was followed by so many people. So between the theoretical foundations which were laid down long time back, there are current researchers who in the last 10 years have been working on many things. I like to call them as heroes of AI or luminaries of AI. These include people like Andrew Ng. Andrew Ng himself is very famous. He's been both an advisor to companies, he's a Stanford professor, he is well known for his online lectures which millions of people have done, and he's very famous for his quotation that AI is the new electricity, referring to the second industrial revolution that I talked about earlier. It's not only Andrew Ng. In fact, Andrew Ng himself has a whole series of videos called Interviews with Heroes of Deep Learning. And you have people like Yoshua Bengio, Ian Goodfellow, and many others who are contributing continuously to this evolving field. So it is not like the subjects that you're studying in school about geometry or mathematics, which was done 400 years ago or 2000 years ago. Much of what we learn in AI today is something which is actually being done right now, and many fundamental transformations or suggestions or fundamental improvements happened about 10 years ago. This whole idea of using neural networks was a relatively recent idea. The idea of deep learning was again something which is quite recent. I mean, these people who did this are living and before us, and you can meet them in person if you go to University of Montreal or University of Toronto or some of these places which are leading in this. The other interesting part is, and I'll talk about it in some length later, that there are a number of women also. And I want to draw attention to this kind of a thing, that there are many women who are leading in AI. Fifi Lee is one of them, who is a leader in computer vision. and there are many others, and I propose to talk about them in some other episode where we talk about some 7 to 10 leading women in AI. This is very important because somehow at the school level it has been seen that girls are hesitant about choosing mathematics or computers or these as subjects or at least as their career lines.